Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Mingy. I'm here with Leia, Tom, Josh, Jeff, and Michelle. We have a full quorum tonight, and I'm so happy because tonight we are the Velkyn Weave, and we're here to play some Dungeons and Dragons. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time watching the Games Tavern, hello, and thank you for tuning in. Please follow the Games Tavern on Twitch. It's free and supports the show, cast, and the crew. In addition to being on Twitch, our shows are uploaded to YouTube, typically 48 hours later, so you can catch up on all the shows you may have missed. And this week has been a blur for me. The kiddo is home from school, so there went productivity. She got the all clear from the pediatrician today, so she goes back tomorrow. Woohoo! I love her, but sometimes, she needs to go to school and learn things. Josh, what have you got for us tonight?
Well, tonight I'd like to talk to you about Amazon Prime. Well, specifically, remember, if you have Amazon Prime, you also get a free Prime Gaming subscription. And Prime Gaming subscribers support everyone on the show and get access to a sub-only emote and to a special subscriber-only channel on the TGT Discord.
And we love you, friends, for your support. Thank you so much for joining us. And in light of the current controversy with the TTRPG community, that support means more now than ever before. We'd like to remind new and returning tavern goers that you can support our cast and crew by using our Patreon by going to patreon.com/thegamestavern, all one word.
And a humongous thank you, of course, to dndbeyond.com for sponsoring this show. You can go to dndbeyond.com, where they keep a repository of all their online products of all the D&D modules, the core rule books, character generators, monsters. You can create custom stuff as well on there. It's a big resource to help anyone that's running online like we are, or even in person, because it's usable on tablets through their apps and other things like that. So please check them out, and we thank them.
All right, is that all we got for this evening?
That is it.
Wow, you guys are fast. I was still getting set up, pulling up my recap notes. So, this is as much for Michelle as for all of our audience.
Yeah.
We have a few things happened while she was away. I'm glad you're feeling better, by the way.
Thank you.
The party wrapped up in Brindle. Bope hired Mason the Mason to build him a tower. We'll see how that goes when next he goes back to Brindle, because he in no way vetted her contacts to see if she had any experience of doing it. Spoiler alert, she didn't.
But it's gonna be okay because it's bunny shaped.
And I've never had a tower before, so we're all in uncharted waters here.
I think this might be why you get the standard tower that goes like that, like every wizard desperately dreams of whenever they're the young apprentice.
Oh, we ended up not calling in the wife? Okay, fine.
We called in the wife?
I think that was
on the table.
I think we
Rank-Grim's
mentioned
wife.
it.
Yeah, we did.
We'll have to address that. We'll discuss later. But for right now, also, Bope got access to Sashina's spell book by solving her riddle. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
And Rangrim broke the curse on him from that spear he was attuned to.
Whew.
Fortunately, he did not kill Tridora Goldenbrow, the high cleric of Amator, while they were breaking this, but it was close.
And the entire cathedral, let's be clear. It was not going to stop with her.
No, he would just claved right through like they were zombies. Stagander has been out fixing up a house in the woods and meeting all the locals. And one thing we found is the locals don't seem to have much fear of drow here in Elser Vale.
That'll soon change.
Or the one that we met was a drow.
Are you saying I'm not really a drow?
No, the Dinsian that lives down here. Hence why they're not afraid of drow. Not because of you, but because they were already drow.
It might also be that there are a few raids in this area. They are much more predatory in the north, in the Sword Coast North. Let's see. Delirus. I had you down. You spent a lot of downtime meditating on your pendant to unlock the power of holy magic held within.
Yes.
And when you got done with it, there was a burst of light, and you vanished.
Poof.
And bunnies.
And there
There
were
were
bunnies.
bunnies.
There were little luminous bunnies bouncing all around where you were, and then they were gone.
Can they be petted? Oh no, they're gone. It doesn't matter.
Well, you were gone too, so maybe you could
They came.
pet them
Yeah,
wherever you are.
they came with you.
Oh, I see.
One thing. Let's see. We had that one. You also found a treasure map. And Eric finally got around to drawing the treasure map. By the
Well,
way, treasure maps are a lot more challenging than you might think, especially if you want to make them interesting. And I tried to pack a whole lot of hints into this particular treasure map. We have it as Scene Center 1 if you want to share that with us, John. Jeff, I mean Josh. We'll go down the list.
one of those names is accurate. Yeah, I have it right here. There you go, good sir.
No, it is written in Dethic, which is the language of the dwarves. So you either need to know Dwarvish or have Rangrim site translate for you. And I will leave that to you to figure out where this is and whether it's worth following. Assured that Delirious was safely with Timora, the party went back to the halls of the Hidden Moon, or as they call it, Dombra Milira, which is the city, the little village of the Gloamings. And we're heading south from there to find the secrets that the Sif Niblin said lay beyond the dragon. As you explored, you were jumped by a reclamation team that was sent out by the Aboleth, and they apparently were seeking Rangrim. They consisted of 4 Umber Hulks, 2 Mind Flayers, and an Aboleth. You fought them off, but not before they recognized the Gander and called her by a very interesting appellation. What was it?
24601.
Her time is up. Her
Which-
That
parole
name's
begun.
familiar. Why is that familiar?
Which is only a 5-digit number, while Rangrim's was a 6-digit number. And for those that do math, that's a big difference.
310821 is Rangrim's designation, whilst the Gander is 24601.
Ah,
Yeah, get
Yeah.
that stuck in your head. If
yeah,
can.
I totally
No.
didn't get it until now. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's all sorts. Did you figure out in Here at the Wind? You're a Tabaxi lawyer?
Are you talking to me? I mean, you told me the answer.
Oh, maybe I'll ask Quentin.
What about Inherit the Wind?
Do you know where I pulled that name from?
Oh, that sounds like a saying, right?
He's
It is a saying, yes.
this is
It a
Eric
time-
showing us his love for pop culture references.
Yeah. Google Inherit the Wind. It's fun.
Will do.
So the party after this is pressed on. Oh, and also Google. I assume you got my reference with tuppence for
I
the
did.
urban wildlife sanctuary.
Tuppence.
Actually, I had not, but now I want to know more.
Tuppence, a bag.
It's my Mary Poppins reference.
Mary Poppins.
I've never seen Mary Poppins.
It's been so long.
What?
Wow.
What?
I had to
He's
sing.
not a Mary Poppins kind of person.
I had to
Look
sing
at him.
so much supercalifragilisticexpialidocious as a child.
It's funny because Tuppence is like a sanctuary. Is it a bird sanctuary or is it just sanctuary?
It's a
Or
wildlife.
wildlife.
In this game, it's a wildlife bird sanctuary.
It's a
urban
woman.
wildlife sanctuary.
It's a woman who sits outside a bank and she pays it's tuppence for a bag of breadcrumbs to feed birds.
Oh.
Hmm.
And she sings that song, Tuppence a bag. I'm sorry.
Twopence, twopence.
I digress.
It's awesome.
We're
Which-
nerds.
We are nerds.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fine because we'll get in some other references here in a little bit.
Yeah,
The party
at
pressed
break,
on.
I'll have to show my shirt, and we'll see if people in the incredibly narrow niche can understand my shirt.
Oh man,
Incredible.
this is a challenge.
narrow.
The gauntlet has been thrown.
Mm,
So the party pressed on after whooping some of Aboleth and Mind Flayer, but one of them did get away, by the way. All the Aboleth, of course, vanished back to the plane of water whenever you kill it. But the Mind Flayers, one tried to turn sideways and got counterspelled, but the other one realized the danger posed by Bope, moved 60 feet away from him, then turned sideways and shifted out of phase and is gone.
What a jerk.
I know, terrible.
What a jerk.
So the party pressed on to a granite knob of rock at a junction where you met Schnella, and she was curious about the secrets beyond the dragon and took the long way around because Bope sealed off the path behind you.
Which in and of itself kicked off a couple of alarms in Rengram's head, but he kind of just went, eh. But still...
It turned out that was kind of a lie. And she was curious about the secrets beyond the dragon and took the long way around. She led you down the left fork to a seeming dead end. The right fork, by the way, she says, leads to the marsh. But with some work, the party was able to pass through the shadow stuff illusion that blocked the path. The rest of the party went somewhere else. We'll get to that in a moment. But Quentin and Schnella found themselves in a roughly hewn underground chamber, at the end of which was a huge piece of obsidian carved to look like a lotus. When Quentin asked where the others were, Schnella said they weren't invited. This was a family matter. Brother.
Dun, dun, dun.
And that's where we ended. And tonight we will begin with you, Deliris. You also are somewhere else, walking down a dirt road. It's a spring day. Waterdeep is in the distance. You can see it on that bluff that rises up from the farmlands and fields that surround it. Beside you, walking down the wooden fence that lines the road, is a young woman in tight leggings, a jerkin, and a bob cut of golden blonde hair. Mm-hmm. She's got a pug nose and crooked teeth, and she's hopping over the fence posts and doing acrobatic tricks. She smiles over at you. Hello.
Are you on your way to join the circus or something?
Perhaps. I thought I would try my luck there.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank you. But you could say I make my own luck. So you wanted to talk?
When it clicks.
Nope.
Yeah.
The gears.
She's staying up there
click,
with
click, click.
One arms out, balancing on one leg.
Hey. How's it going?
Just lucky. How's it going with you?
Mostly okay. Trying to save my dear friend and fellow acolyte, Deet. You may remember Deet and Tobias.
I do indeed. It was a stroke of luck that you brought them into the fold.
They took to it so well. They're good at gambling now.
Oh, don't worry. I haven't forsaken them completely.
Oh, I would never accuse you of that.
But if the luck is going to break their way soon. You know, I have to be careful about that.
So, now that we're having this talk, person to person, I guess. Yeah. How do you feel about Bashaba?
She's my twin, my opposite. the yang to my yin,
Hmm.
the off to my on, the close to my open.
Yeah, I've been wondering if maybe some sort of. I wonder if we've been doing it wrong.
Have we? What have we been doing?
Well, I mean, we always talk about, good fortune, but yeah, I mean, as you point out, it's twinning. It's good fortune and bad fortune they're always together. There's just fortune, and then it falls one way or the other, and
Mhm.
I don't know if it makes sense to only venerate one. That's only half of the picture, isn't it?
Yes. Let me ask you this. When you go sailing, do you pray to me or do you make an offering to Bashaba? Not Bashaba. Umberly.
Well, since I am in your service, I would make prayers to you.
You are exception because you are exceptional. But for the average person, the sailor, they would worship, I'll give an offering to Umberly.
Yeah, and that
If-
makes sense.
If you're a farmer, you make offerings to Shantea. If you're a timekeeper, you make offerings to Amantor. Mostly if you like justice and legal and everything being organized, and you like organize your files and you file your taxes on time, Amantor. So I'm just one of many. We are a chorus.
Hmm.
Think of it this way. Luck is like a ball, and we have to pass it back and forth. I had to intercede for Bope with his book.
Thank you for that, by the way.
It seemed a good use of the ball. But this passed the ball to my twin, and she now had luck.
Hmm.
And she used it to curse your town, which passed the ball back to me. And now
Mhm.
I'm about to pass the ball back to Bashaba.
And then
So
she
you
gets
s-
another chance to do something terrible.
Yes,
But it all goes back and forth.
it does. Because we really need you to do something about the abolithic sovereignty.
Oh, I intend to.
We can't directly interfere. Well, we could, but it's kind of like smashing a fly with a castle.
Inelegant.
Well, some sages call these things realm-shaking events. And every time we smash the fly with a castle, we end up breaking half of the world. Whether you call it the time of troubles, or the spell plague, or the sundering, lots of people get hurt. And so we like to let mortals handle these things.
Oh no, sure. I understand. When you say we, does Bashaba also have an interest in handling this problem?
She should.
I mean, it would
She
make
might
sense
not.
because she also has followers who would be cut off from her.
Makes sense to me. But then again, keep in mind that I can't really talk to her because it really have to. The people you hate are the ones you know the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't. She doesn't. No, I can't talk to her. She won't talk to me. Also, we end up fighting. I'll say something, she'll say something. Scales up really that fast. But yeah, she might.
And if she doesn't, I suppose she can be convinced by the right words.
Words in the Shaba.
Or the right person.
Possibly. She is unfortunately saddled with the downside of luck, which is doing bad things. And it makes her quite cranky. She did kind of get the short end of the staff, but then again, I didn't break the staff. And so she wanted to have the most influence, and bad luck has more influence than good luck. So she kind of picked this.
Self-inflicted wound. No wonder she's so bitter.
Yeah, she got first dibs. Meanwhile, I found out that if I gave everyone good luck, nobody notices. They just go, oh, it's just a passive bonus. And you forget about it after a while.
Bonus?
Well, you know, kind of way if there's a little bit of luck in everybody's life, you don't notice, it just becomes the norm. And I started withering because no one responded to me because, and so I had to concentrate it. And the best places I could find to concentrate it, adventurers.
I mean, we're extremely grateful for all of your good attention.
And save the world.
We're doing our best. I gotta ask, are there other people who are on this world-saving business, or are we the only ones handling this shit? I gotta know for my own peace of mind.
Oh, there's others. Lathander. Very much Lathander. Shantea, but she's mostly has her head in the dirt. Mistra. Although she's kind of inscrutable. Have you ever actually talked to Mistra?
No.
It's like talking to a wind chime.
I'll take your word for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I haven't had any luck.
Well, you're gonna get the ball soon. I mean, well, you have the ball.
I have the ball. I'm about to hand it off.
I mean, could you use the ball? Talk to Mr. I don't know. Maybe that's not a good use of the ball.
Oh, I have the perfect use for the ball.
Well, I look forward to witnessing your good works as always.
Any other questions I can answer or artfully avoid?
Where did this come from?
What are you holding up?
I'm showing her the amulet that I found in the Shadow Dragon Sword.
From me.
Well, did someone own it?
Mm-hmm.
Who were they?
Bope.
What?
Bope.
Did you turn the book into this amulet?
So, one thing I want you to know, remember this when you're in the darkest depths.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the goddess of luck. And I'm betting everything on you. And with that, the amulet in your hand has that small pendant on it
Yeah.
that grows and becomes the Book of Exalted Deeds. And you're now attuned to it.
Yay.
This will have the following powers. It is a legendary artifact. It requires attunement by a cleric of Timora this time. Your wisdom will increase by 2. This can raise it above 20. Any spell slot any spell cast counts as if you cast the spell 1 level higher.
Mm-hmm.
You emit a halo. As an action, you can summon a protective halo, which creates bright light for 10 feet and dim light for another 10 feet. The halo can be dismissed as an action. While radiating light, you have advantage on social checks with good creatures or intimidation with evil creatures. And attack rolls against you have disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
You also gain 1 bonus cantrip.
From any spell book or from the cleric spell book?
From the cleric list.
Okay.
And you have regen 5 as long as you have 1 hit point.
Okay, what are the downsides?
You're vulnerable to all damage.
Wow.
Downsides? What downsides?
Come
Oh.
on, this thing's incredible.
No horns.
It's the good book. It's the good book.
Good book.
Yeah.
The downside is Timora passed the ball back to Bashaba when she gave you this Book of Exalted Deeds.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The other bad thing is someone's looking for that book.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So there's no mechanical drawbacks,
Just
but there
a
are drawbacks.
great big sword hanging over my neck.
Yeah. Just don't.
Sword of Damocles hanging over my head.
Just don't show it to any evil things. That'd probably be a bad idea.
I'm not even. I don't know if I'm even brave enough to use the halo. Like, maybe he can like sense it, like Sauron.
Oh.
Like, oh, someone's using my book. Roar.
He might. He knows a lot of secrets. See, that is, of course, one. He knows all secrets. Maybe if you broadcast it to everybody, he wouldn't know about it because it wouldn't be a secret anymore.
Well, no, but then he'd just know about it.
But he's not on
Defeats
the
the
plane.
purpose. He has followers. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. I wish he hadn't done this to me.
There's a lot of like eraser shavings in between the pages.
Oh, and one thing you notice about your medallion,
Yeah.
the front of it has a silhouette of a rabbit with 4-leaf clovers around it, and you're pretty sure it's a particular rabbit.
Is it Mr. Peppers?
It's Mr. Peppers.
I think it's worth showing this to Bope to let him know that Mr. Peppers lives on. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, this is incredible. Okay. Cool. Cool.
And when Timora looks at you, and she's in no way as good looking as her sister, Bashaba is far finer. She raises her hand in blessing, and last things you hear is, I'm the goddess of luck, and I'm betting everything on you.
Yeah. No pressure. Yeah.
And with all those words, you are sent back to the material plane,
No pressure.
where you find yourself in a tunnel, along with Rangrim, Stegander, and Bope.
Hey guys.
Hello, Dolores.
So, wait, I think we missed the part. So, I think we only had Quentin come out of the wall. So I'm assuming the rest of us then came out of
We
our
went
portion.
Yeah, we went
Yes.
somewhere else.
When you went through the wall, you push all the way through, and you find yourself in this cavern, a tunnel that is 20 foot wide.
Okay.
And extends off the limits of your dark vision, but it's ever so slightly tilted, like 5 degrees up to the left, 5 degrees down to the right.
Interesting.
Hmm.
And it's
And almost as soon as you were to walk through and you find yourself as this room, there's a flash of light, and Delirious appears next to you.
I shield my eyes. Quentin, you've changed.
Wait, where is Quentin?
Isn't he just pretending to be delirious? Very funny.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that he did something like that. Is that you?
Hello,
Wait.
Quentin.
Do something that he can't do. Tell the truth.
He can tell the truth.
Here, rip up this piece of paper.
Oh yeah, that's it. Rip up this contract.
Notarized?
It is. It's a notarized piece of paper.
We love you, Quentin. We promise. Please come back to us.
What's the deal, Quentin? What's with the disguise?
Where did Schnella go?
Yeah, not here either.
Did you kill Schnella?
What?
No, she walked through. You remember she walked through the wall before us, and then we all followed her through the wall.
That's a pretty good delirious voice. You've really been working on that.
Oh,
Speaking of Quentin, let's shift over to you real quick.
Sure.
Quentin, you are on the threshold of the Crucible. You now know where you are. You see the great statue of the obsidian lotus ahead of you. And next to you, looking up at you, is little sister.
I look down at Schnella. It's
Hello,
Sandra.
Q. How have you been doing? Wait, don't bother. I already know. Welcome home. Father wants to see you. And if you could, Josh, Jeff, could you bring up Creature One, which is our glorious portrait we have of
Oh yeah,
Cassandra.
I've got that right. Yeah.
He's never looked better.
Indeed. So, miss me?
Well,
I know what you're thinking. You left me for dead. Did I look a lot like this? And she like takes a lot of thing, and she goes finger and goes across her throat. As she does so, a bloody line appears, and she starts strangling. And she collapses to the ground.
I give her a slow clap.
The dramatic.
She winks at you from the ground, still in dead pose.
Look,
It was convincing, wasn't it?
it was. I thought I had killed you, but you popped up on a year ago. Was that on purpose, I suppose? Leaving a trail of breadcrumbs all the way back to the Fey Market?
Maybe you got lucky. Let's just assume that.
Look, I don't have
So-
anything to say to Father, but since I'm here,
Oh, he's got all sorts of things to say to you. Maybe you could stand there and listen for a change.
Sandra. Look,
Q. What? You missed this, don't you? You missed this. You missed this place. You missed us.
look, we could leave right now. There's nothing holding us here, right?
You don't understand where you are. Father holds us here.
Yeah. I
We're
know
in
I'm
his
at-
home. We're in his house now.
Nothing comes in here unchanged.
Of course. That is why it's the Crucible.
I'm sorry I got us into this, but It seemed like the best choice at the time. And really, what's the survival rate of 2 orphan kids in Menzo Baronzon? We'd probably be dead.
Extremely low, yes. We would be dead. I appreciate you bringing us here. It has given us opportunity.
What have you done with your past 10 years? How many bodies have you racked up on your count?
Oh, you know I don't keep count.
Of course.
We do,
What's
I
the
go as
saying?
Father says.
Death is not the end, but the means.
Well, I would say that their ends are my beginnings.
So was there ever a Schnella seam finder, or did you replace her?
Oh, of course, there was. I cannot invent out of whole cloth. They would have been suspicious. But don't worry. And she reaches in her pouch and pulls out a small gem. I keep it around in case I need answers. And you see inside there's a little shadow of a humanoid figure inside the gem. She flicks her hand and it's gone.
Smart.
I learn from my best. You. Come. Shall we go meet Father? Or do you have any other questions for me?
So many questions, but so little time. I have an idea why I'm here.
Really?
The Aboleths, what they're trying to build. It threatens this whole operation.
Aboleth are small. Father dreams big.
Lead the way. Let's
Of course. And do not worry about your friends. They're down in the gauntlet. I'm sure they're fine. Speaking of friends down in the gauntlet, you hear a large thud, boom, to your left. Remember I said that the hallway was kind of sloped? At the very limit of Stigander's dark vision, you see a giant boulder, boom, drop down into the tunnel and starts rolling down towards you.
I'm assuming that it's as wide as the cavern.
Exactly.
All right.
How did we know?
What would you like to do? It's picking up speed.
I want
Run. Everybody run.
to hang on. Yes, but we're running very.
Before it picks up speed, can I use Pepper's paw to try to hold it? Just
How much does that hold?
it's a. It's not like telekinesis. I don't think it has a strength. I mean, it has a strength. It doesn't have a poundage, but its strength. Its strength is 26, which is
Okay,
pretty high.
it is. All right, you want to cast that spell?
Yeah.
All righty, let me make a strength athletics check with the full bonus of a 26 strength to stop it.
Okay. All right.
The DC
So-
is 20.
So,
That's a natural 1. So
It crushes that paw head right through it.
I pick up Bope and start running.
Now can we?
We
run?
got to look for a side passage to run into.
All righty.
Yeah.
Everyone make me a strength athletics check except for Bope, who is being porta-carried.
Oh God.
Boped.
Strength athletics.
Oh, dice. Dice.
Yeah, I got a 13,
17.
which is good because I have a bonus of 0 to that roll.
Nat 20. So I got
Alrighty.
a 29.
All
I
right,
hate you.
Sagander and Bope and Wrangler
Wrangler.
made it.
nice.
But I get splat.
Unfortunately, the ball catches up with you. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
I'm
Delirious.
no.
Slightly better with that. 13 again.
The ball crushes you, and you feel the horrible, horrible pain as you take 90 points of bludgeoning damage as the
Oh.
giant boulder rolls over you.
Oh.
I can survive that.
Yeah, no, I only had 85.
At least it can only hit you once, right?
Let's hope.
All right, so the rest
We're
of
in
you,
a parabola.
run forward, and you see a small hole in the pathward ahead, a path heading towards you. Do you want to run past it, or do you want to jump into the hole?
Oh. Can we take a quick peek into the hole and see? Can I
I
see
will
anything
continue
before
running
just...
past.
All right, Rangrim and Boat go running
Because
past.
I know I can.
Commander stops.
I know I can't see inside that hole.
I just want to like take a peek and like
He
see
looks
if there's...
down, and it's a shaft that goes down about 60 feet and opens up into another corridor.
Oh, I don't want to jump down there. I just keep going.
All right, you follow Boat. Rangrim to the end.
Yeah.
Okay, you two run to the end, and I need you both to make me strength athletics checks, and I need Delirious to make me a death save.
4.
24.
19.
All right, the two of you are able to stay ahead of it, and the path continues to go down and ends in a giant 20-foot wide dip that goes down about 50 feet and just drops. And you notice that the cavern is kind of rounded on the far side as it goes down.
Like the boulder is not going to go down. It'll catch.
No, it's going to go down and then go down the hole.
Oh, shit.
You think you're in a giant marble maze.
Oh, no. We
This is the
jump.
worst timeline.
So this is where we jump against the back wall to slide
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
Yep.
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 Cool.
How
This
big
is
is this
fine.
boulder? How big is this boulder?
Is 20 foot wide.
Beast.
All right. I'm gonna disintegrate it.
I guess that works.
Okay.
I turn around and you see green energy crackle around my gnarled, wrinkled hand, and a beam shoots out, and the boulder just, well, you tell me.
I'm looking at it. Will disintegrate up to a 10-foot cube portion of it.
Which in the center should
Mm-hmm.
do quite a bit.
All right. And the ball, you disintegrate the center of the ball, and there's a giant hole, and so it no longer is round and cannot roll. So it just rounds forward and goes bam, and then slides, and then comes up and goes dink against Rangrim's foot.
Oh. Guess that works.
Delirious, make me another death save.
Can I get over the boulder
damn it.
and get to...
That one's lost. 19.
Hey.
+1. Yes, make me an athletics check to climb over top that boulder.
Oh, I can do that.
Is there space? Because I could send her with the carpet.
Maybe
No,
we
she's
should wait.
She's jumping.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
already declared her action.
Yeah, it's okay. I got a 21.
Stagander just jumps up, pops off the wall, pops up on top of a broken boulder, and just disappears right over top the boulder.
I'm just gonna haul ass down the hall to where I think.
If you're putting the carpet out, I'll put you on it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'll get it.
So, like Wile E. Coyote, there's a delirious shaped, very exact hole in the floor.
Yep.
It's
But
not
you
the
look
ho-
like-
it's
She's like completely flat.
yeah. A slight breeze comes through and like, quick, get the inflator.
Alrighty, what are you using to inflate Delirious with?
Cure wounds.
Okay, go ahead and cast it. Now, while you're casting that and let her know, I'm going to flip back to Quentin. Quentin, you and your sister walk across the through the concourse that connects most of the rooms of the Crucible. You pass by the various rooms and it brings back memories to you, some even unknown even to me, but known to you. You've had
The language lessons drilled in day after day. The
that would be
punishments.
the vault. That would be in the vault of ordination. And then the place that you were remade in their image. And that would have been the vault of sublimation. And then
Yeah.
the vault of perfection, where you spent many hours learning your skills, honing them. And finally, the vault of reformation, which is used for eating and sleeping. And as you go, you can see set in the floor all the golden rings that are given to members of the Obsidian Lotus set into the floor. Ones down there are tarnished and muted, for those are the ones that did not pass and failed the tests. But above you are rings set into the ceiling, and those are polished and bright and shine. For those are the ones that have fallen in service to the Obsidian Lotus and whose rings have been reclaimed. And their names are engraved in Esperoir, the language of the elves, if I remember correctly, in a circle around them.
As I'm walking through this, I take off the glove that I have on, the magic glove that enhances stealing, and underneath I've got one of those rings on, and I kind of mouth to myself very quietly, "To betray, you must first belong." One of the things they drilled into us here. A lot of thoughts going
Zandra
on.
kisses her ring as well.
I give a perfunctory kiss and put the glove back on.
You arrive at the entrance to Father's Sanctum. It is an Archimedes screw that winds upwards inside of a shaft. So it is rotating. So when you have the portal open, there's like the pieces of the ramp just keeps passing by. In order to go up to the sanctum, you have to step into the screw and surrender yourself to the power of Father. And if he wants to meet with you, he will pull you rise. Otherwise, you just keep going in circles. After you, brother.
I count the rotations and step in when it seems appropriate.
Okay. Do you surrender yourself to the power of Father? Let him guide your steps. Are you
Very good
ready to
question.
embrace it?
Look, roll a dice here. Yeah. Yes, I will. I'm here, Father. Returned.
And you feel it coming up. And Zandra steps into the shaft behind you. And up you go to the sanctum, rising. 4 of you down in the gauntlet.
So
You were able to get Delirious conscious again.
I have a feeling, based on that curve, that this is meant to just keep running, which can only mean that there's, at some point, something else. Either it stops, or we face something more.
Well, there was that shaft that
Yes.
goes down.
Where'd it go?
Let's.
It drops down.
I can float down and maybe take a peek.
That'd be good. I was going to like
It's probably just where
shimmy down and like use friction. Whatever this is.
climb speed.
That's right. I do have that.
Tension. Arm
Tension.
Tension. Yes.
It's
Physics.
probably just meets up wherever it goes around, and it's the same. But
I'd favor that smaller tunnel over one that a boulder might roll through.
Because Eric,
How
you
many
said
boulders?
it was 60 feet long.
The shaft is 60 feet down. And then it opens up. 40 of it seems to be inside of rock. The last 20 of it seems to be inside of another tunnel below you that is also 20 foot wide.
which holds the 20 by 20 foot.
If the only thing that I can think of is like hide in the shaft.
Hide in the shaft. What are we hiding from?
I don't know if another one of those boulders comes or something.
In answer to your comment, you hear a large click, click, boom.
All
as
right,
a large
cool.
rock
Let's go.
comes up there.
Yes, I don't like it in this tunnel.
Well, this time
I
you're
did another-
on the carpet, so it's
I
less
take
of
my
a.
carpet down into the little pit.
All right, you go down 40 feet and enter into a 20-foot wide cavern, and Rangrim seems to have the right of it. You can actually see that the hallway goes up to your left at about the same angle that it would have met the other tunnel above you, where you just came from, loops over and comes out down here.
Oh,
And the
That is
tunnel
fun.
continues to angle down to your right. And you can hear the rumbling of the boulder getting closer above you, which means it will be here soon.
So I guess. So yeah, just around the corner. If so, I'm just gonna run and slide down
Yep.
the other side.
either way, go whatever's quickest for you.
And I go forth on the carpet, trying to find any sort of safe.
You go down the shaft or
Mhm.
around the corner.
Ah.
Okay, you're in the lower tunnel now. And the rock is now passing over top of the shaft that was connecting the two. What would you like to do?
I would like to. I don't see another similar pit going down the middle.
Not here, no.
Okay.
Remember, you're right below the pit
Yeah.
that goes back up.
Mhm.
So you could, in theory, hide in the middle of the shaft between the two levels, as
That's-
Degander recommended.
That's what Stigander was thinking, was just
Mhm.
like,
Or you could see what goes down that way.
Yeah.
You see down here, you can see a reddish glow coming from that direction, but it's too far away and too indistinct to make out what it is.
Rangrim, what are you doing?
I'm running. I'm just running in front of it. So
Okay.
Make
well,
me a
if-
strength athletics check, Rangrim. Boom, 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 boom.
27.
Oh, he is. Dwarves are made for sprinting,
Yeah.
and he's off.
So just so that he's not running
I've
blind,
been
I will-
running. I've been running
go-
since he first went down the hole in the first place. So
I will go downhill towards the glow.
All right. What would you like to do, Sigander? Or what would you like to do, Delirious?
oh yeah, Delirious.
So I assume the fast healing of the book will eventually heal me.
Yes. Now that you're above 1 hit point, or now
Yeah,
you have 1
okay.
hit point.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna hang out with Stigander.
All right, what's
Because
Stigander
Stigander
doing?
can make saves that I can't.
so I think in that case, if she's gonna go with Stigander's gonna get into the shaft first and use like tension and her climbing speed to like hold herself just before the bottom,
Mhm.
so Delirious can get in, and then
Mhm.
we'll hang out until like the boulder passes.
All right.
Theoretically,
Does
I
Quentin have the
saw-
rope of climbing?
No, I do.
No, Stigander
Stigander
does.
does.
Yeah.
I saw a movie with a farmer and a llama where they went back to back and were able to
That's what I was thinking.
control.
All right. You
We
were
don't have
able to
any
do what you want to do,
llamas.
Stigander. And you
Alpaca.
wedged yourself into that the shaft, and Delirious is able to hop in after you as the boulder goes, and you hear the crunching as it just grinds up the old boulder into powder and just disperses it as it rolls big around the big loop and is coming back underneath of you.
The boulder is
Oh.
conflicted.
This is a terrible place.
Oh, by the way, Delirious, get inspiration for meeting your goddess.
Yay!
Pope, what, you are fleeing down the pathway or what?
In my view, I am leading the way and pathfinding to find the next safe haven for my friends, so that they're not just
Make me
running
a
blindly.
strength
into the
athletics
death.
check to urge Carpet to go as fast as
Okay.
stay ahead of my
Strength?
boulder.
So it's a 15 minus 1.
Okay. With your Carpet's advantage, you were able to stay ahead of the boulder and also your head start. But you're not going to help. It's not good. It's going to be super close as you and Rangrim get to the end of the hallway. And Quentin, back to you. You come out in the sanctum. It's a round room with a domed roof, sunken in the middle and rising around the edges. Large windows with low, wide arches pierce the walls and look out on underground cities in the darkness. Strangely, the cities that you see through them are all upside down. Father sits in an enormous throne made of velvet and polished steel and shadow. He's tall and slender and shirtless with black silk pants and black leather boots. He wears a gold face mask that frames his eyes, and his hair is white with red highlights. A cloak is loosely draped around him, and shadows flit across his form. Against his throne is a longsword that throbs with power. And you felt this power before.
Does this have a connection to my patron as a warlock?
It does. It is the same resonance. You can feel it.
So, I mean, I did steal the words and the oaths that allowed me to call upon my warlock patron from him, so it's only fitting.
He stands up as you enter. Ah, the prodigal son. You have come back to us here.
It would seem that all paths lead here, Father. Mistakes were made.
That is the nature of the obsidian lotus, is to take advantage of opportunity. And when one plot fails, another is birthed. So
I didn't think you'd want to have anything to do with me after the way we parted. I look over at Cassandra, since I thought I'd consigned her to a horrible death.
there is naught that you can do that I cannot undo. But I think it's time that you have earned a bit of truth. Have you learned my name that the mortals call me yet?
I've not, Father, but truthfully, if we're speaking truth, I've not sought it out.
You are still my son.
I mean, you did make me the half-elf that I am today.
Could have been so much more, says Schnella. You look back and she's a gnome again. But you left before your training was complete. And now you can't be a human fully like I can. And you watch she just kind of shapes into the human the last time you saw her.
I use my warlock invocation to disguise myself and call upon my training as an actor to recall my voice as a drow child. Look, little sister, we don't need to do this. We could leave together. Like the old days.
Oh, darling, that's impossible. We're in too deep in it here. Besides that, we have big plans. You should hear him. You should hear it out. Indeed. Before we go further, you should know what the mortals do call me. They give me a different name. It is Veyron. Are you familiar with it?
I am not.
You will be. You will be. And I have an offer for you. A incredibly attractive one.
You have my full undivided attention, Father.
Shifting back to the other group now. Sigander, Bo, Deliris, and Rangrim. Actually, the two of you, Rangrim and Bo, arrive at the edge of an enormous cavern that is filled with boiling water and mud beneath you. And over top of it, you can see chains are hanging from the ceiling on which there's discs on the end of them, and they're about 10 feet apart from each other. And if you could please, Jeff, combat map 1, you can see the path of the discs and the chains that go across this room, but every so often geysers of mud and boiling water burst up from the goo beneath you. And you hear the rumbling of the boulder coming towards you.
Cast fly on Rangrim, and I say, "Get to the side!" And I take my carpet off to the left.
All righty, make me a dexterity save. Rope.
Okay, that is 14 again.
14. A geyser of hot water explodes from below, and unfortunately, you're too late to jump out of the way of it. On your to move your carpet out of the way of it, and I need to go look at the book.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
And I bump the thing that immediately puts everything to sleep.
It's better than a boulder because 90 is insta-kill for Bope, so can't do that.
Nope.
I feel like this just became an episode of Ninja Warrior.
It is an episode. You're in the gauntlet.
Some of us.
If I'm not a ninja at the end of this, I'm gonna be really unhappy.
I thought
Oh,
you
we
were
did that?
already a ninja.
Some of us do pretty.
That's why you have a climb speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Be careful what you write in your backstory. It may just come back to you in an episode one day. Sorry.
What?
I do read those, by the way.
Thank you.
What?
He gave me all sorts of wonderful things to work with.
Quentin, this is why you don't write a backstory.
Quentin
Make
totally.
it up as you go.
Quentin totally has the 10-page backstory.
Rangrim,
Broad strokes.
do you want to make the? Are you flying? You have now a flight on you. Do you want to leap off into the air to avoid the boulder coming down behind you, flying, or do you want to stay where you are, fly off, or jump onto one of the discs on the chains?
Question: quick look up. Is there more height in this room?
The ceiling is 50 feet above the level of platforms. The cave floor is 50 feet below.
Cool. I'm just gonna go straight up from the lip so that I can let the boulder pass, and then I'll come back down, and I'm gonna just kind of do the kind of follow the platform.
Oh.
Do they have like holes in them or something?
The platform?
Yes.
They have like that.
Okay, so if like the boiling mud comes up, it's fine.
Oh, it should be fine.
Yeah, you use them like shields.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, Bo, got a question for you. Do you want your carpet to take the blast, or do you want to take the blast?
I mean, the carpet.
The carpet?
I
Wham!
I
The
can't take a
carpet
blast.
takes all the fire, and it just goes through, and you watch as the scalding water and heat just starts burning holes through the bottom of the carpet.
What carpet?
Do you have any way of flying without a carpet?
I did. I just gave it to Rango.
Would you like to make me an athletics check to leap to one of those discs that have
You
a
betcha. All right, dice. Here's the deal. Nope. That's a 10.
Uh-oh. Rangrim,
I
I
guess
need you to make a dexterity check as well, but you'll be taking less damage. Dexterity save, sorry.
From what?
The mud is when the geyser goes off.
The geyser from the platform that I was just standing on?
You can see the first geyser there on the bottom one. It blows up and it hit Bope head on, and you are within 2 discs away. So you also need to make me a dexterity saving throw, as there's heat and water all over the place.
Oh.
Flash effect.
Yes, you're getting splash damage.
Let's see. Dex save 17.
Alrighty, you make the save. Do you have anything that negates all damage if you make the save?
No.
Or is that just Quentin?
That's totally not me.
Okay. Take 16 points of fire damage. Oh, and I forgot. Boat also take 27 points of fire damage because the carpet absorbed most of it.
27, you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I will.
So what you're saying is I have to catch him.
This
Well-
might be required for you to catch him as there's a boat free falling.
Well, I can recast fly. It just means problems. Actually, let me look again at the spell fly. Is it a, what is the range? No, it's touch. How do you upcast it? You have to touch everybody? That sucks.
Boop, 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 boop.
Can I?
Everybody hold hands.
Can he reach me? I hold out my
We
hand.
will find out. Would you like to try to reach Bope and catch him?
Yeah.
Athletics check.
Yeah. First, though, I'm using a bonus action, I think. That one's not going to be of any help, but this one should. Can activate Storm Rune. Yeah. Okay.
As the boulder gets closer.
Athletics! 20, 30, 20.
Not a problem. A dwarven gauntlet comes out of the mist and mud and extends its hand towards you, Bope.
I cast 4th level fly on both of us.
The hand grabs you before you are able to fall down, because according to Xanathar, is you fall so many feet as a reaction whenever you do this, so you don't have an action to do this.
Oh,
you needed Bope to you needed Rangrim to grab you. This is why Feather Fall is useful, because you can do it as a reaction. You got Bope.
Yep. That
Now, if you want, you can recast Fly.
did that take both my actions to do?
You moved up. You did your bonus. What other action did you want?
Move again.
Yes, I took all your actions.
Okay.
Now, you'll be able to move again after Bope casts Fly, but I'm going to switch back over to Delirious and Stagander. You're in your safe shaft as you watch as a boulder rolls underneath of you.
All right. I want to let go of the rope of climbing. I'm just double checking. I wanted to hold so I wanted to let down the rope of climbing so we could just like rappel down it.
Sure. Do you have anything that you can attach the rope of climbing to?
That's what I was reading to see if it's one of those objects that'll just like hold itself in place, but it doesn't look like it is.
If only you had an immovable rod.
If only. Oh, can I take one of those the rope arrows that I got from Helxena and like stab it into the side of the?
You can.
All right, cool. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna tie the rope to it.
Okay.
And then go down. I'll have it
All
unknot
right.
itself when we get down.
You would slap it in there, do the rope thing, it ties around it. And anything you want to do, Delirious?
I'm not sure I have anything applicable, unfortunately, to really help here. Because I can't fly on my own. I'm a cleric.
You're getting better every 6 seconds.
Yeah. No, I'm probably fully healed by now.
Just following Sagander's lead then?
Yeah.
All right. Bope and Rangrim.
I look into his eyes and say, I'm not going to make it, Rengrim.
We've got we've got 60. Fly is 60 feet, right?
Yes, 60 feet movement. So I guess dash should be 120.
And we are in the first. We're in the where you said you went to the left, so we're to the left. One square, or how many? Where are we at?
He's over top the 4 squares that have the geyser on the bottom. Although I'm not. This is grid light. Just to warn you on this encounter.
Sure. I'm gonna fly as quickly as I can to. Let's put me on a thing. Where am I? I don't. There am I. I fly. Send to rear order. Send to back. I will fly us and to here to get bearings. Waiting for another geyser to explode using this thing. We're kind of flying above it, above the shield. Like my feet are kind of on it, but like if the shield was like to drop or something, I'm not gonna drop with it. I'm just keeping some tension, so if something hits it from below, it doesn't like flail out. Putting some weight on it just to keep it level. You know what I mean?
And Bope.
I'm flying.
Are you casting
with
fly?
him.
Are you hanging on to him, or are you flying your own fly?
No, I cast 4th level fly, so we're both flying.
Okay.
I mean,
so you cast 4th level whenever you originally cast it on him, is what you're saying.
So when he caught me,
That doesn't matter.
whenever I have an
We're both
action,
flying.
Yeah.
I
mean, the
use
correct
my
answer is
last
you should be being carried anyways.
okay. I will accept.
All right,
that.
as you're there, the boulder comes rolling out and gets caught by the geyser going up, and the boulder goes down, lands on the geyser, just flows up to the ceiling, and you watch as it just shoots the boulder up into the ceiling.
Oh, neat! It's self reloading.
Gander, Delirious, off the distance, you hear another click, boom, as a boulder lands upwards of where you are.
We should run now. Now we run.
And with that, we go back to Quentin.
Oh.
So we have an opportunity. The Council of Five has an opening in Arm. I understand that you are seeking the office.
You understand correctly? It's what's best for Brindle.
Yes. And is what's best for the Obsidian Lotus and the Illitheri. We want you to succeed. Claim that position and rise to power and Arm.
I don't know if you know this, but you're not even the second criminal organization to shake me down today.
I'm not shaking you down. I am opening your eyes to possibilities. Come. He puts his arms around you and leads you over to the windows. And as he points out, look at the prisons that my mother confines us to. Look at this demon web that she has woven around us and holds us.
Is one of the cities that he's looking at Menzo Baranzan? I'm looking for the central pillar that's...
Except it's upside down. All the cities are upside down. She wishes to keep us trapped here below the surface, in this night below. But there is another way. There is the night above. And he raises his arms as he does so. The the domed roof goes transparent, and you see the night sky overhead with all the stars and the clouds drifting by and a resplendent moon shining down. This is our birthright. This is what the Eleutheri were forced to leave behind when she drove us down into the depths.
Father, this is not anything that I haven't heard before. When I signed up, this was the pitch, and I went in for it. But the bloodshed, the butchery, the war, the silver marches.
A failed attempt. And now we have a better plan. One that you have paved the way for. We will take over with your leadership. We shall make it a safe place for the Eleutheri to rise again. And we shall make it a drow realm. With the power here, with the control of we can then claim the forest of Tethia and subjugating the interloping Tulil Tel Quasia. The moon elves always bow to whatever strongest force is around.
What of the humans that live in Brindle and the surrounding area?
I suspect they will notice very little. They are already beholden to their various lords and to their merchant princes and to their contracts. The Eleutheri they will continue to mine, to construct, to build, to farm, except that ultimately their masters will be us and not a bunch of merchants.
I do dislike the parties they throw, the inflated prices for magic items. Wasted excess.
We can control it with the power and influence of the obsidian lotus at your command. You are sure to win this place. And as one step forward, taking control of the Council of Five, and with that, itself, and we can bring our people safely to the surface in a realm that we control, where we will not be hunted, where we will not be outlawed. And then we can move against Tethia, subjugate the elves there, then finally we will outflank the Lothites at Galadirth, below Kalimshan. And the Eleutheri will have returned to their place of power and might. This is the grand plan that we have now. One step at a time, though. We need you on the council. We need you leading. We need to subvert control of it to us.
Look, I was going to go for that council position either way. So, sure, you can count me in.
Abe extends his hand to you. So, we have a bargain, son.
I do have one addendum that I would like to add.
Of course you do. Tell me, what is your addendum? And while you think about your addendum, we're going to go back to the others. Rangram, how you were there? I need, let's see. You two are there. You saw the burst go up, and the other geyser will go off.
Okay.
Can I have the two of you make me dexterity saves?
Okay. I'm assuming we're not getting hit by much since we're so far from it.
Yeah, I got a chart here that says how many you're away, is what DC and how much damage you take.
6.
18.
All right, you looks like you are 2 discs away. The DC is 12.
I got a 6.
All right, 16 if you fail, 8 if you made it.
Yep, I am. Yep, I'm down. Which means the fly is down.
He's boulders go really fast.
Especially through disintegrated boulders.
Yeah, they just grind them to dust. You destroy the structural integrity of the boulder when you disintegrated part of it.
As has doubt. Okay, cool. So now I'm actually just standing on the thing. That's
You
fine.
may file your doubt into the
I used my reaction. I had the storm rune up, and it's up so I used my reaction to give Bope advantage on that roll.
Is it?
Hi, Bope.
Is that possible?
Yes.
Okay.
As a reaction, absolutely.
Okay. Oh, that's better. That's 17.
You made it, so have that damage.
Half of
8.
16 becomes
16.
8.
Okay, so I have, and this is fire damage?
Yeah.
Fire.
All right, so I have 6 health. So I am going to use my reaction to cast Absorb Elements.
Aha!
Take 4 damage. And because it doesn't say it has to be from an attack. I could just do it when I take fire damage.
Mm.
So.
That's my understanding.
I did not realize you were so injured. I'm sorry.
I was at full. I was at full when you last saw me.
He doesn't have a lot of hit points. He's a very squishy man.
I'm at 2 now.
Or I'm sorry, a new squishy noob.
Do you want to continue flying across the rest of the way?
I do believe.
Yes, immediately as soon as that geyser goes off and the thing splatters down, sprint to the other side.
You make it and you land. And the geysers and chains are behind you. Stegander and Delirious, you were climbing down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. You land. And you can hear the boulder rolling your way. You think you have 2 rounds to get here.
Cool.
Okay,
Before it gets to you.
where are we land? Are we on one of those platforms at either end of the room?
Nope, you're still in the long tunnel that leads down to them. So you're going to need to make me an athletics check to get there.
We still have
But
to
you have
run
an
through.
advantage of you get to make 2 of them before the boulder catches up with you.
Okay. But okay.
We basically we landed in the middle of the hallway, so we still have to get
So
to
it
the
goes
end of the
down.
hallway.
Down.
Okay. Okay. The upper or the lower?
I'm
You're-
assuming the lower.
You're on the lower. So the boulder
skinnier looking
up
one?
here goes down, around the corner, back.
Okay.
And you're going,
Mhm.
Okay.
make me a strength athletics check.
That is 14, 15, 16, 17.
12.
Alrighty. Stegander has no problem running and is going to be able to make it. If you want to, you can use your next action to aid Delirious so that she gets advantage on the roll, because you will now have successfully been able to make it to the geysers and chains.
Yes, I will aid her.
My strength lies in my ability to point out bad ideas, not my legs.
All right, make me another strength athletics check. As the
But I,
boulder
and I-
this is for Delirious.
yeah, I was gonna say, so I aid her to roll with advantage.
Well, I rolled a 17. I don't know if I can get better than that.
You were great. You two reached
Yeah,
the
17.
edge of it, and you realize that you are staying over top this large chasm that has all these chains with discs hanging
Yeah.
over it, and there's bubbling mud all over the place. And you can hear the boulder rolling down the tunnel behind you, getting louder every second.
Okay, so what's happening is the boulder comes out of there, it lands on a geyser and gets blown up to restart the process.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you have not been in this room, so anything you say, I'm
Oh.
going to say yes to.
All right.
Yes,
well, I
that's
guess
exactly what
I'll-
happens.
I'll see after the boulder comes through.
You
Because I
realize
have a
you need to get off
plan
this
to maybe deal
platform.
with
Yeah.
this.
Stegander doesn't really stop other than helping Delirious.
You realize you're going to need to get off this platform very quickly.
It's not going to take up the whole platform. It can't possibly.
Sure, again, it's a 20-foot wide boulder.
That's a 10-foot wide
That's
platform.
not what that that hallway is not 20 feet wide.
Oh, I ignored that hallway. I told you this is grid light.
Arguing is not going to help in this situation. Trust me.
But I need to be on the platform to do my plan.
What do you want to do?
Well,
Okay, so I have stone shape. So what I want to do is stone shape a little bit of the floor to be like just a little bit of a nub. Not
Okay.
far enough. Hold on, not far enough in the boulder's way for the boulder to crush it, but like kind of to skim it. Cause I want to change its trajectory so it misses the geyser. So it sort of veers a little bit on the nub. It misses the geyser, so it'll just land in the mud and it won't reset.
Interesting idea. Okay. Where would you like to stand to do this? I mean, you think you could do it, but where would you like to stand?
I don't think
where
I
you're
can do
casting
because
the
I
spell?
haven't seen the boulder's path, so I don't. Maybe
You
I
also
can't do
don't
it.
have any reason to launch the boulder in a specific spot yet.
Yeah, I mean that's Michelle's plan, but Delirious doesn't know
Right.
anything about it until I guess she sees the boulder.
Mhm.
I'm assuming Rangram can see you and he'll yell, "I'll get you, Delirious!"
Are you mad at me? Is this revenge?
We'll find out on my
All
next
right.
turn.
What would you all? You get one round. Anyway, so
Um,
tell me what your action is. We'll start with Stagander before the
I-
boulder shows up.
I'm gonna jump onto the first shield.
All right. Lyris, what would you like to do on your round?
Wait. Stigander and I each take one end of the rope. We lay the rope down and drop, holding onto it on either side of the thing. The boulder's not going to cut through the rope. It's just going to roll right over the rope.
What's holding the rope?
We are.
other.
The tension between us.
Oh,
Like, here's the platform and we just hang down.
Power of friendship.
the power of friendship.
All right. Stagander, are you down with this plan?
It sounds insane.
All right.
Is that a yes?
You know how crazy that sounds, right? Does it look like it'll work? Because I'll do it.
Maybe an insight check.
Where's my insight? Why is there it is. Oh, it's +6. Oh, that's awesome. 21.
With a little bit of luck, yes.
Let's do it.
YOLO!
Just like
What would you like to do?
Fly 120 feet and grab Delirious.
No, let me go. I don't know why, but Michelle has reasons.
All right, Vogue, what'd you like to do? Staying over there out of harm's way?
Absolutely, because
but-
I'm concentrating on the fly spell, which I made my save. By
Uh,
the way.
Before I flew off, I bonus action threw Bope a potion of healing greater.
And I drank it. It's a 44
All right.
plus 4.
So Delirious and
yeah.
Rangram is flying over. Delirious and Stagander grab the two ends of the rope of climbing and leap in different directions off the platform. And sure enough, let's go with an acrobatics check for the two of you.
Oh, thank God. It's still not
As
great,
you both
but-
go jangling down and are swinging down underneath of the platform.
23.
Wait,
18!
And as you jump out of the way, the rope goes taut just as the boulder comes out of the platform and goes sailing off, and you watch as the boiling mud goes and shoots up into the air, catching the boulder and flinging it back up. I need the two of you to make me dexterity saving throws for splash damage.
I will use my reaction to give Delirious advantage.
No, I don't need it. I don't need
Too late. I already did it.
25.
it. 19.
Nice.
You both made it. Take 8 points of fire damage.
How do we
And
get
you
back
both
up?
are dangling from below the platform. Quentin,
Yes.
so your stipulation.
I would like to know what happened to Cianodel and her child. My first love. And the reason that I ran away.
You still care for her after all this.
Let's just say I don't like loose threads.
Agreed. We will show it. We will reveal that information to you.
I reach my hand out, grasp his.
It will take a while, but we will be with you shortly.
Then we have
Can't
a deal.
worry. I'll be your liaison. Wait, wrong voice. I'll be your liaison. She winks at you. All right, as you grab your hand, and there's a burst of magic.
Okay.
As you've made a pact with a god.
Your dad's a god.
It's complicated. He's like an adopted father.
Uh,
Uh,
At that moment, you realize it's the same power that gives you your hexblade.
he's upgraded a bit. I keep doing this. I keep jumping in and making deals without fully researching things.
And with that, suddenly shadows envelop you, and you're back at the granite knob in the pathway in the hallway where the fork was when you first went down to the secret tunnel when Schnella was leading you. And around you are Rangrim, Bope, who looks a little fried, Stagander, and Deliris, who are holding opposite ends of a rope.
I just imagined we just like fall on our butts.
Yeah.
Yes. And with the time, that might be a good place to take a quick break.
I was like, Rangrim's totally going to be like, aw, I was having fun.
Yeah, you can make your strength check, you bastard.
Alrighty, it's a little bit past 8:30. I figure there's a good place to take a quick break. What do you think?
Yeah.
5 minutes, 10 minutes? What do you want to do, Jeff?
You tell me.
I don't know. You're tech.
Right, you tell me how long you want.
Okay, let's split the difference to 7 minutes, so it's 8:45 when we come back.
Now I gotta actually do something.
No, and then do 10 minutes.
Nope.
I don't want.
Too late. I already did it.
No.
7. And all right. Are we just? It's just
So
transition.
10 minutes?
No, 7.
7.
Oh, 7 minutes. So 8:45. We'll see everybody back, and we'll see everyone yells at Quentin. I mean, the next scene of our adventure.
Bye.
Right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Hey.
We have managed to rest and refresh. The party meets outside at the Granite Knob at the fork in the cavern and the tunnel. One going towards the Crucible and the other heading down towards the marsh. And you were all once again together for the first time in 2 weeks.
I'm looking sad.
Is Bope fully healed?
Very confused right now.
What?
Where's my carpet?
Bope did get a potion of greater healing. I don't know if that would fully heal him.
It got me up to 14 out of 33.
So almost half. You know, it's fine.
Speaking of, I'm gonna give aid to Bope, myself, and Quentin.
Quentin doesn't need it.
You don't need it? Okay.
Where are
Actually,
you?
I don't know that I necessarily need it either. Bope, Stigander, and Rangrim, I'll get aid. 10 points.
Aid.
Thank you.
What is
Thank you,
aid
lips.
again? Aid's the tent.
Permanent
Yeah.
hit points. But so
For 8
so
hours.
what happened back there? The tunnel.
Where's
The area?
Schnella?
You tell us what happened. Like 1 second you were gone, and we thought the Lyris was you, and Schnella was gone, and then the boulder chased us.
It was terrible. Some sort of hell house. I don't know.
Like all that Fey-Rez in there. I'm not sure. How long
Fey-Rez?
were we separated?
Feyres and where? I didn't see Andy.
That's all I saw when I went in there with Schnella.
Did you kill her?
No, I've nothing against Schnella.
Where did she go?
I assume she's going to pop out here at some point.
I'll look around.
I didn't feel any Feyres.
Where did you
Pretty
guys?
attuned to that.
Where did you end up?
In a hallway.
With a rolling boulder.
Like white caked mud off my face.
Mud geysers. Hot mud geysers.
It was so cool.
It was the worst. Don't
It
listen
was
to him.
horrible.
The-
As like I'm
What?
gonna untie me and Delirious.
Like they had us running and jumping. It was the best.
Hope
I
your
used
wrinkles have
all of
never
my
looked better.
magic capabilities. I'm spent.
See, yeah, look, but we got a mud bath. Like you have to pay top dollar for that stuff.
Yeah, my pores are really
Yes.
clean.
And it incinerated the carpet.
What?
Oh,
It
well,
was horrible.
you did go off the wrong way, but
Delirious almost died. You're lucky you have somebody who knows how to do healing.
we have potions somewhere.
Yes, thank you for that, by the way, Velkyn. Who knows? Maybe a
Uh,
boulder was about to come from the other side.
Well, I'm glad we're all together again.
Can I do an insight check
Yeah.
on Quentin? Because Stegander still doesn't believe this phase res biz.
Sure. To try to check Quentin's deceptions. This should be entertaining.
You want me to roll to
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
D&D Beyond? It's 25.
27.
27.
Oh, in that case, you're looking at, and you're pretty sure Quentin is hiding something, but then again, Quentin's always hiding something. So
It's just his normal level of greasy.
you are very certain that you did not feel any feels res here.
Okay.
And he said that it was because of that.
Okay.
And you think, and so you're very certain that you were correct. Oh,
Stegander doesn't press it anymore. She's just narrowly gazing at Quentin, like puzzling it out. Gears turning.
Hopefully, Schnella makes it out and can ask her what she experienced.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be fine. She's a seam finder.
Indeed.
Why would she? What if she's still with the boulder? What if she's
Well,
inside the boulder?
We didn't see. Then you disintegrated her bulb. You
Whoops.
disintegrated the inside of that boulder.
I wonder how many boulders there actually was. Could you have disintegrated all of them?
Well, no. As I said, I'm spent. And that was just to barely keep from dying.
So should I find a place for us to rest for the night?
Please.
All right. I
And
can.
I hold my hands up to Rangram.
I pick up both.
I don't have a carpet anymore.
I seat him on my backpack.
I snuggle in and put my head down.
Bob's like, oh, I know that. This looks familiar. Rinian did this to a goblin once.
mhm.
Had no legs.
So searching for a place to sleep.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
He had
Okay,
one
because it's
leg.
a half day journey back to the cloister to the glowwings if you want to stay there.
Yeah.
All right,
And
go
I-
ahead and roll me a survival check.
Don't know if we could make that. That is 24.
24. Tell me about the spot you'd like to find.
I find a nice cozy little alcove for us to tuck ourselves into for the night. Very, very much like the one that we saw in the walkway with all the spiders and whatnot. Something that's got like a one-way in. We can keep our eye on an entrance. Those are all over the Underdark, right?
Oh, with your 27, you said?
No, 24.
Yes.
4.
With that, you're able to find somebody gets most of that. Because there's I've been kind of just having to be one pathway down. It's not really when you
Yeah.
get close, there's like lots of little side passages. Most of them go nowhere. They like go down about 20 feet and then just peter out, or they join back up with the main pathway.
Mhm. I find us a nice little cozy spot to
All right.
hang out.
Are you pulling out the cottage? Or do you want to sleep without the cottage?
Do we have enough room in our little?
With a 24, yes.
Sure. And I'm for it if everybody else is for it.
Yeah, sure.
Makes sense.
If it fits.
Before you deploy the cottage, I say, wait a moment, and I just sort of squint up at the ceiling for any holes that boulders could come out of.
Make me a perception check.
I also look up. He's just got now. Now I'm like,
It's totally,
Paranoid
it's
by
totally
proxy.
not about the boulders.
14.
You don't see the hole.
Wow, you had to do that.
Maybe it's covered
We're
by an
clear.
illusion.
We're all clear.
All right. Boom. The little cottage unfolds.
I love
And
that.
you have your cottage.
I'll make you some toast, Bob. Okay. What do you want? Some soup? I could make some fungus soup.
Yes, any. Do we have any lentils?
I bet we could find some lentils.
Okay.
They do have a lot of lentils down in Om. All righty. Who's doing the watch?
Quentin will take first watch.
All right. Roll me 1d6.
1d6 coming up. It is a 3.
All right. Your watch passes uneventfully. Who's next?
I'll get it.
Roll 1d6.
5.
5. Nothing happens on your watch. It's very quiet. Who's next?
Quiet.
I'll do it.
D6, please.
5.
Same. Oh, it's a quiet night here in the secluded part of the Underdark.
I'll take the last one.
It's like, whoa,
Okay.
what's over here?
2.
And after a while, your internal clocks go off, and you realize you've completed a long rest, and the night passed uneventfully.
Ding ding.
You get all of your spell slots back. Your hit dice have replenished,
All right.
Sweet.
and Delirious feels the party has accomplished another quest.
I think.
What was the quest we accomplished?
Ooh.
What's beyond them is really worthwhile. You've discovered what was beyond the dragons. It was a boulder.
All right.
It was.
It was a gauntlet.
Mhm.
I
think-
will cast 8 again on Bope, Stagander, and Rengrim.
think- This makes those of us who died a -1, I believe now.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
I don't think
Don't
it would
worry.
have mattered.
I forgot too. So it all worked out.
The only reason I remembered was because I was erasing everything on my sheet.
I don't think any of those rolls were close enough to really be.
I don't think so.
I'm not worried about it. All right, and you now have a little ceramic cottage again.
Commander is eating toast that she prepared this morning.
So I'll spend the morning looking over the map, translating it.
Mm-hmm.
So this says dragon here. So this path leads to the fungus looking. I wonder if it's where the Glaumings where they get their food.
If Rangrim lets Stagander peek over his shoulder. If that's okay with you, Rangrim.
I can't stop you.
All right. I would be in agreement then. That
Is that the marsh they mentioned where they get their food?
Yeah, the fungi or something. It says something about a waterfall.
so theoretically it could be the marsh.
So, with this map, where you translated, it said something about hook horrors, right?
Mhm.
That sounds like
Yes.
it hooks back up to the area of many caverns on the original map we had.
No,
Maybe.
it's possible.
Remember Quaggoths and others and all that stuff? Somebody mentioned hook horrors.
Were there hook quarters?
There's nothing on this map that mentions quarters.
I thought when we were talking with Schnella and stuff at some point.
It says grells, dangerous passages, wormholes, razor rock, quaggoths. It says other. I guess hook horror could be in the other category.
Well, I did mention hook horrors as one of the others.
The
Because
one,
you asked about it.
the one about the ship trapped in the rock is kind of fun.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's really far away.
And I do want to point out, I think this map is great, but yesterday, I know Rengrim was a little concerned about our time. Because another one of those, that shield could pop up whenever. And we're not going to see it coming. I feel like...
Oh, that reminds me, Delirious, please roll 46.
Oh,
Okay. Am I giving them to you individually?
Nope, add them all up.
14.
All right, thank you.
dear.
I know you had previously been concerned about the amount of time that we spent in Brindle to heal. And I think it's time to kind of get on with the reason that we even came down here.
What's a Diregund? Sorry.
Drell.
A Darrow.
Darrow, that's the one.
Is that the one I have the gayest for? Or no?
You do.
Yes. Okay.
What is it? What is it again?
A Darrow.
Darrow.
Monstrosities.
Okay.
Monstrosities that don't deserve to exist down here.
Okay. Sorry.
There
I-
might be dwarves, might be gnomes, might just be their own thing. Apparently, they huff baby gnomes as a way to get their magic.
No, I agree with you, Stigander. Like, this is, at best, perhaps a fanciful quest, but should not take away from getting to the city of...
I mean, I don't like I my new appreciation for map making and cartography. I'm very curious as to where this particular map fits in with the map that we've been creating. But I do think, and I was scared when Dolores said that her magic was cut off. I can only imagine how afraid she is or was during that period of time.
Well, there is the most direct route that we know from the map that we had before that we would have to double back and then have to come all the way through. Theoretically, there may be a connection through where we are now, maybe beyond the gauntlet or something else. We have no idea what lays beyond that. There is going through the marsh, which I'm assuming is the same as these shimmer light fins, because fins and marsh, those seem like pretty close words to me.
That's pretty close, I think, yeah.
Now, then after that, there is that one that says number 3, which is a path of water, which anywhere we can find water in the Underdark, it could lead to the city, as it was one that lay within a pool of water.
Which city?
The city that we're seeking.
Mm.
The one that I dare not speak its name. Naya Halutha. Wait, I'm sorry, wrong game.
But you didn't dare to speak the name.
Different name.
Okay.
Pass through the fungal forest.
So, it could be along that path. It may be some other path.
I feel like though, if we follow this map on the shield, we're taking a really big chance that we might come across a a path
So,
to the city.
Senior GM, I
Yes,
have
sir.
both navigation. I'm trained in navigation and trained in cartography. Could I
Mhm.
attempt to see if there is connections between these maps?
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and make your check with with both of those. Pick one and do it with advantage.
Okay. Let's do navigate. No, since this is maps, we'll just use cartography. That's fine.
Nice.
What does my other thing give me when it comes to... Where is it? Nope, that's only for that. Okay, cool. Oh, nice. I got a 2 and I got a 17. So
Nice.
that's 20 just proficiency, right? So 21.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Looking at it, you think you were on the right track with the mention of hook horrors earlier. That others, where the hook horrors were listed as one of the others, and therefore you think the path on the gnome map that says many caverns, beware ropers, Quagoths, and others, is leading you towards the rift. Somewhere up there, there's a connection between the gnome map and the dwarf treasure map, where the rift of the hook horrors are. But you're not entirely sure yet because how it connects, because you haven't explored there yet, but you think there's a connection.
Is there any indication on the dwarven map that would have it match in scale to the gnome map, or is it seem to have a smaller scale? Because I know for the gnome map, just to go from gnome home to the lizards was many days travel, or several days travel, which is not.
You think it's much smaller scale.
So it may be quicker to bypass the grells this way.
You think you are accurate in that.
But we would still have to get past many bad things. Hey, it even says that.
Mm-hmm.
And more worms and the Dragoon. So far still.
So Ringram, where do you think we are on this map right now? If we were to try and plug into it?
We went down an alternate path in the one that led to the marsh, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
On the gnome path, you went down the Great Lizards Beware path on the far left.
Right, but beyond that, when we got to the Glaumings, wasn't there a split in the path that then we took one route instead of going to the marshes?
Correct.
Okay.
You were at the granite knob that kind of created a fork in the path, and you went west to the dead end, which led through to the gauntlet.
Right. So.
And then the right path is one you were going down, and would lead to the marsh.
Right. Oh, I didn't know we went back around and we went down the marsh path, or no?
Oh,
So
that's where Stagander was looking for a place to camp.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was around the fork, right, Stagander?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we are somewhere between beware, here lurks a great and terrible dragon, and seek out the Shimmerlight Fens.
That's
Yes.
good. We're not off the map. We're still kind of on the path if we want to be.
Yes.
Someone took skill cartography. I had to throw a map puzzle in there for him.
I got multiple things. Well, and Stagander has it as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we are keeping a detailed map of our travels.
Yep. I have notes on this map. Just because I'm gonna make a whole one.
Or we should do at the end, do a big map of all the spaghetti you guys went through.
Yep. So we're saying that from the marshes, the area where it says danger, here lies a rift of hook horrors that in theory hooks up with the Goths and others?
Based on Rangrim's and
Okay.
mine experiences and knowledge of navigation and maps,
Okay.
yes, that would
Cool.
it seems to make sense and spatially lines up.
Cool.
So
Yes.
again, we could turn around and head all the way back and then come all the way down and have to go through the Grells, which is its own danger, or we could go this way. And I think this route may be shorter, even though
Well-
it's to get beyond the Grells, but it would still lead us to need to have to still so much travel still.
I mean, if you believe that it's actually going to hook up, then I think that it is worth not having to double back. I will agree with you on this.
Sounds like an adventure.
Forward
And
ho, then.
there may be some paths along this route that may be the city as well. But who knows?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we're
So onward.
onward to the Shimmerlight Fens.
All right. Who is leading the? Who wants? Actually, we know it is. This is Gander.
Well, I thought it was Degander and Rangrim have been
Walking together.
walking together
Right.
while we like map and
Yeah, Rangrim's doing pace count, and Stegander's doing navigation ticks.
scout work.
All right, Gander, go ahead and roll me 2d6 then.
All right.
We'll see if we have some random encounters on the way down.
4 and
Yeah.
a 3.
A 4 and a 3. All right. Rangram, roll me stone sense. Is that intelligence plus proficiency?
It is stone cunning. You mean?
Yes.
Intelligence, history, and I have double proficiency bonus.
Jesus.
Woohoo.
On top, yeah, I'm considered proficient. Well, I'm already proficient, so just double that. 15.
15. As you go along, you come across a large seam of copper
Hmm.
just in the walls.
Natural?
Natural.
Neat.
Just kind of goes down. You can kind of see it veining out several places. And you're not entirely sure if it's following your path or if the path cuts across a larger seam that goes this way.
I will let Stegander know to note it on the map.
But
Oh,
there's
beautiful.
quite a bit of copper here.
Here there lies copper.
I'm gonna have to print out the other map since we're moving on to that one, so we can take extra notes because there's not enough room on this map to take.
That's why you got to get poster board.
I'm gonna do one.
And you
actually, I'm gonna do one in Photoshop.
No,
I'm gonna
do it on
like,
poster
some
board and then just keep it like behind you.
live
missing out.
updates. To just do like live updates.
It'll be like, where's Santa now on Christmas?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That little figure move around.
Where's the Velkyn Weave?
Oh, you could do like the old Price is Right, where the mountain climber goes up the mountain and then falls over the end at the end.
I
Only
get
because
that.
I want to yodel the whole time whenever you move.
Live your dreams.
Oh, man. So you travel for half a day after leaving the copper seam behind you, and you're continuing to go downward for the most part. It's not an even, smooth tunnel either. You have to stop several times and clamber down cliff sides that go when the tunnel drops about 10, 20 feet. Then it narrows down, and then it gets big and wide again. But after several hours, many hours of traveling, it opens up to a large ledge that is like 100 feet across. And the path here it's only about 5 feet tall. So you're having to duck down a little bit for this last bit to get through. And it opens up into a huge, huge cavern. Like you cannot see the other side of it. And water is dripping from the ceiling all over the place, like a slow but steady rain. And it's forming channels and ponds and a few lakes on the cavern floor below. And the ground is covered in soft humus, and massively tall mushrooms are growing along these channels to the point where it's hard to see any distance out into the cavern. But here on the overlook, you can see one stretch of mushrooms along a small lake, might be the best word for it, that is where sparkling dust swirls in soothing geometric patterns, and you can kind of see it rising up from these mushrooms. Ferrez is extremely powerful here. Not quite enough to enchant magic items, but it has lit the entire cavern in greens and oranges and blues and purples of its radiance.
Is the ceiling weeping?
As you look up, there are drops of water forming and then falling. And it looks like the ceiling is cracked in many, many, many places, and the water is slowly dripping through.
Interesting. Some type of aquifer or something else above it.
But it's dripping so fast, it's not
It's like
forming
Reston.
stalagmites. It's dropping too fast to leave stone deposits on the ceiling, so it's not forming stalagmites and it's not forming stalactites, but it's like a gentle rain here in the Underdark.
So, I think we need to go this way along this wall here, but does anyone want to explore any of this?
Way across. No.
I don't think we have to get across the lake. We just got to go down this wall. There should be a waterfall at the other end, I think, based on the map.
Okay.
I'm going to take this opportunity to swap out my cloak and put the cloak of the manta ray on, and just in case.
Okay. The pathway, as I say, comes out onto a wide ledge, and to your left, so I guess on the east side, there's a small ledge way that's working its way down towards the floor below. It is narrow, 5 feet, sometimes going down to 2 feet, then going back out to 6 feet. But it's going to require some careful work. And I'm going to require a group strength athletics check to navigate it successfully without complications. And it's working its way down towards the cavern floor.
This wouldn't happen to kick off my land stride, right? Where I can move through non-magical terrain with ease.
Yes, it would. You count as an automatic success.
Cool.
And then you can use your action to aid another.
I will aid Bope.
I will also tie rope to Bope and tie rope to Michelle and then tie rope to me. Or, I'm sorry, not Michelle.
Who's this Michelle you speak of?
Delirious. That's a word.
It's obviously an avatar of Timora.
Quentin's aliases.
Yeah.
They will tell
Or
you.
Bashava. Depends how she's feeling that morning. Flip a
I'll
coin,
actually-
we'll find out.
I'll have Delirious at one end and Bope at the other end and me in the middle of the rope.
Does the Ring of Free Action aid in the descent or no?
No, because you're not being. It's basically to see if you fall off. That's still a free action to fall off.
True.
It's a free action to fall.
20,
Didn't you know?
25.
All right, that's 2 successes.
13.
That's a fail.
I got a 15. 14
That's a
rather.
success. A 14.
Yep.
Uh-oh,
-1 still.
Delirious.
Sorry, what am I rolling?
Strength athletics.
Tiebreak.
Bope, weren't you being aided?
6.
Fortunately for y'all, the DC is 12. So there's one instance though where part of the walkway gives away underneath of, let's say, Quentin, and Rangram has to hold tight on the rope, and you just see him hunker down in dwarf armor.
Quentin's not in the room.
Oh dear.
Oh, sorry, not Quentin. Rangrim hunkers down in dwarf armor and holds, and Quentin is like balanced between him and whoever's on the other side, and is able to quickly regain his footing.
Just holding desperately to the rope and staring down.
You don't look down. You never look down, both.
Oh dear.
I spend the whole time looking down. This is fun.
I know, right?
I will mage hand to cover my eyes.
Isn't it translucent?
No, it's just the rogue one.
Oh.
I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
As it takes about an hour, and you reach the cavern floor. And when you landed it, it's soft. It's like, as I said, it has a layer of humus. What's the word for it? The very soft black dirt. Humus. Humus. I've never actually heard it pronounced. I've only read it in books. Anyway, your feet sink into a little bit, and all the ground is a little bit soft and squishy. It's kind of like dirt, but not entirely. But there's everywhere these magnificently huge mushrooms growing above you and kind of forming a bit of a forest. And then there's algae and growing on various things, and things are even other, like moss is hanging from various bits of the mushroom. So it kind of has a feel of a swamp.
Neat.
Gander's just
Really,
got
you can
big,
even hear-
wide eyes.
You
Like,
can hear bird calls in here too.
Oh, wow.
How did the birds get down here?
Probably not birds.
And we keep traveling along we follow the wall, and because unless somebody wanted to go explore something else, we haven't seen anything, right, to really draw our attention outside of like sparkly stuff in the middle. No? Yes? Question mark?
Stigander's
Oh, and
just like really excited because like an underground forest and she's vibing. So
Oh, it's super cool. Like
I'm-
I'm very curious about it, but like I don't know if we have time to be super curious.
Yeah.
Are these mushroom trees edible? Can you eat the bark?
We should find out.
I know.
Well, in addition to these mushroom trees, there's smaller mushrooms that are growing all over the place.
Oh, I want to look at all the mushrooms.
the white ones with red polka dots.
We should see
Yes.
if we could make any of these into bread, or maybe they're good for soup.
There were,
Make mushrooms
you know,
out of you make bread out of mushrooms?
Yeah.
I don't see
Would
why
you like
not.
to make me a
Is it-
survival check, Skander?
Good.
Yes.
You can make it
Together.
with crickets.
Oh, there's a lot of cave crickets down here.
It says survival
Yes.
21.
You were able to identify some of the
Not so poisonous ones.
not so poisonous ones. Let me see if I got some notes on it.
Ooh, keep your eyes out for the ones that you can slice into like a liver. They're delicious. It's like meat substitute.
It's like going through, picking up cave crickets and like snacking.
Me
Here, Quentin, do you want one?
Yes, I do.
I'll have to get back
Velkyn.
with you on the mushrooms.
That's fine.
Really?
We can talk about it. I know I've got the Out of the Abyss book that's got like a whole list of them, and we'll go over them later.
Yeah, we'll go over some. You see what would be
Okay.
appropriate in the fens.
Can I?
You also see in the going through the channels, you see a variety of iridescent fish, which you think would be normally albino, but because of the Fears Res, they've all gone multicolored and shimmery.
Wonder if they're edible.
And most of them are about that big.
We can have fish stew with some mushrooms.
And you also see off the distance what looks to be a giant stork kind of wading its way through the channels.
Storks are cool.
That's
Question mark?
possible.
Storks have to eat too.
Unless this is something that's gonna not be a stork.
Well, it does have a strange looking beak. It's kind of axe shaped, and it's using that beak to like
Is it
pound
an axe
into.
beak?
Have you run into an axe beak?
Yes.
Pope has.
It looks
Pope
like an
had a
axe beak.
pet. Pope
And
had a
it's like
pet.
boom, it's like chopping its way into a piece of fungal log that's growing along the side of the channel and is like then eating all the insects out of the inside of it.
Oh,
Neat.
And there's giant fireflies too,
that's super cool.
like about that long.
Oh, okay.
I was like, giant, dire fireflies.
Dire fireflies.
Yeah, they're just drifting along and go up on the undersides of the mushrooms and like they're nibbling out spores from the inside of it. And then they flutter along and like glow, glow, move on.
I would love to study all of the things that are in here if we weren't on a time constraint. I just want to look at all the mushrooms.
Well, maybe we can come back later.
Maybe
what if-
sometime.
What if can anyone speak with animals?
Yes.
Ask them some questions, maybe anything out of the ordinary,
Anything out of the ordinary?
shiny things, treasure. I don't know. You speak with animals, not me.
I speak with animals. Like, ask for directions, like that one time with the frog.
Hey, what's the worst they're going to say? Cricket, cricket.
That's true. I can also speak with plants. I can do
Ooh.
either.
That's cool.
How many?
So.
If not now, then when?
How often do you get to speak with a plant, though?
Exactly.
Is
So
there
it's-
any animals that I can get a hold of to try and use speak with animals, or is my best bet like?
The axe beak.
Well, you have the axe beak, you have fireflies, you have cave crickets, are the three that I've mentioned,
Okay.
or you could go hunting for others.
I will, whichever's closest to me, either the axe beak or a firefly. I will cast speak with animals.
All right, roll a d6. Odds are axe beak, evens are fireflies.
That is a 1, so axe beak it is.
It glares at you as you approach. It's got does its beak one eye.
I make myself look as non-threatening as possible.
Make me an handle animal check.
I step lightly and
You
animal
gotta,
handle.
you gotta bow. Remember to bow.
I got about
what-
16.
Make eye
16.
contact.
It doesn't immediately charge at you and try to axe you.
It wants to axe you a
God
question.
damn it, you got to it first before I did. I opened my mouth to say it. So slowly, light of step to cast the speak with animals. How do I, is that, it's not a, oh, I could just touch myself. Never mind. I thought I had to touch it. Like, hello. Just here to ask some questions. I won't bother you.
Busy. Busy.
Busy. Okay.
Busy.
Okay.
What do you want?
We're looking for a waterfall. Which way is it?
Many waterfalls.
In this cavern.
Uh-huh. Waterfall. Waterfall. Waterfall.
Okay. How about an iridescent waterfall? One that is like on the side of on the cavern, not from the ceiling. Very helpful.
Mushrooms.
Ask the mushrooms.
Yes.
Okay.
Ask mushroom men.
Ma-
They
mush-
know.
Mushroom men.
Haha.
Talking about myconids?
Myconids, your canids, our canids.
Turconids?
Do you need a bribe? I have some crickets.
She like waves. Like, thank you very much. But actually, I will put my hand out for like crickets.
I hand you the little magical bag that produces crickets.
I open the bag of crickets and like, I don't know how this works. I
It'll give you
Take it.
14 a day.
cool. I pull out like a handful of crickets and I put them on the ground and walk away. And the bag.
Bam! It axes all of them in half. And it minces the crickets up.
Ginsu knives of the animal kingdom.
And then its long tongue comes out and starts. Ask mushroom men.
Thank you. Have a nice day. So they told us to ask the Myconids.
The who's? What's?
They're like mushroom people.
They're like what?
Mushroom people.
But we could just keep walking. Like, we're gonna just walk on.
That's not a real thing.
What?
No,
Mushroom
that's a
people?
thing.
Yeah.
In the Underdark, yes.
I feel
'Cause
like you're just pulling a prank on the city slicker here.
Because I asked him what the waterfall was, and then he was really like sarcastic about it. Waterfall from the ceiling, waterfall over there, waterfall over there. And I asked him about the iridescent one because that's what the map says.
And he knows the word iridescent.
He understood my words.
Did he though? Or is he just making up this kind of people to
He
like
said that to ask the mushroom people.
send you on a
and it's
snipe
the
hunt?
Underdark.
You-
It's the Underdark, and the mushroom people are like Myconids, right? That's a thing. Come on.
Do you think the axe beak is playing
That
it?
sounds made up.
I
You want
don't
to go
know.
shake him down?
Rangrim, back me up here.
Look, I've seen a mushroom
No.
person before. Mind you, I was 12 and 5 deep in a crowd, but I'm pretty sure I saw one.
Yeah, this sounds made up.
What are you talking about? That's real. We'll go find some. I'll go find some. It'll be fine.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go find them then.
Mission objective. My goodness.
Find mushroom people.
Next,
I
you're gonna be
guess-
telling me that the mushroom people have
Alright.
infiltrated all levels of society and secretly rule the world.
I mean, I wasn't, but
You know, I bet the Otug would love it down here. All this
Yeah.
hummus.
don't you dare. This place is beautiful. Keep it untouched.
So is this the plan to go look for mushroom people on the advice of an angry bird?
Yeah, this sounds
Yes.
totally like a great
Yes.
idea.
It's because, but now because everyone has questioned the sanity of Stagander, she is absolutely gonna go find mushroom people.
Cool. If we find them while we're traveling this path along the wall to get to where it should be, we can talk to them.
One thing you'll notice as you go along the wall, Rangrim, is that there's actually several waterfalls that kind of come out on a wall, and you're not entirely sure which one is an iridescent one.
We try them all.
All of them? Okay.
Gosh.
I swim up.
I don't think.
I have
But-
athletics 9. I swim up.
He kicks really hard. Oh man, it's Zelda all over again.
Hey, it
He's
works.
gonna
In,
Breath of
Swim
the
up
Wild right up
waterfalls
this
in
thing.
Zelda?
I put on my salmon outfit.
it works in Minecraft.
Yeah. See?
On the
Or
other
Quest
hand,
2.
I have a climbing and a swim speed, so it could be done.
Yeah.
But only if you have both.
All right, let's see. I guess Stagander, roll me a survival check to see if you can run into a mushroom folk. Rangrim, roll me a survival check to see how soon you run into a iridescent waterfall.
Is it yours is survival, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dirty 20.
7.
Before you do find a waterfall, but it's obviously not iridescent. There's nothing about it as iridescent. Just it's a small trickle coming down the water wall, and just it doesn't even have a flow. It just makes the wall wet as
Yep.
it goes down.
Totally not this one. Moving
No,
on.
That's not the waterfall.
But
No.
Stagander,
just
you
falling
run into a
water.
trail that looks really weird. And you've run into myconids before in your travels, and you can tell it's a myconoid trail because it looks like someone walked this way and then walked backwards with a mop behind them, swishing back and forth as they went across the ground. And that's kind of the trail it leaves.
That's it. The myconids aren't made up. They're cartoons. I understand now.
Stagander touches her nose, points at the the path. I was like, I found it.
Your nose?
The path. No, this is me. Sorry. You can't see me pointing at the ground, but I am. Come on. Come on.
Okay, I'm coming.
What language do they speak? Do you know?
It's complicated.
I would love to hear more about this. Do they hold up signs with what they want to say on them, like cartoons do?
No, they don't speak per se.
Go on.
You got to. It's an experience. You got to. Come on.
Should I be concerned though that they're trying to cover their trail? Usually, you only cover your trail if there's some type of predator.
Obviously, it's not very well. If it was like a moth.
Well, no, they're myconids. If they were competent, they wouldn't be cute.
You don't
Like
even
it is
believe in
travel.
them.
Do they travel single file to hide their numbers?
Yes.
Are you following the trail, Stagander?
Stagander's gonna follow the trail.
I gotta see this. She's made me too curious now.
Okay. It make me another survival check, Stagander, to follow the trail.
It's a trap.
It's a tarp.
23.
It is like a 4-lane highway blazed across this marsh where these things just and it seems to be going in a particular path that you've noticed. Like it's following its own little path through the marsh. You didn't see it before, but now that you see this trail, there's definitely a path. And it seems to be checking various ponds.
Maybe it's got like fish traps or something in there.
Yeah, like what is there anything like in the ponds that are of the same category?
No. When you get there, you do look at the one thing you do find is that on the second pond you come to, the first one just has eels in it, a bunch of eels. The second one you come to has nothing in it, no fish, no anything. But there looks to have been a giant pile of offal was once here, but it's gone. It's like someone has like picked it all up. Because you can find there's a big spot where the ground is still kind of warm and there's little traces of it still left there.
Yeah.
But someone has diligently picked up all the offal that was piled up here.
Okay.
And at the third one, you find the maker of the path. It looks like a 5-foot-tall mushroom with arms.
Does he have
And
legs?
it's
Or does he
wiggling
just hop
along.
around?
And it has little feet that kind of shuffles as it goes.
Aww.
And it has a bucket in each arm as it's going. And one bucket is full of offal. The other one is empty.
I'm gonna do that
And he's
thing where you're like smack. See?
I see it.
It hasn't seemed to have noticed you yet, as it's in there working its way around the pond.
Hello.
Would you like to join the Church of Timora? It's adorable. I want to see more of it. Shut up.
We're here to speak to you about our Lord and Savior Timora, Lady of the 1%.
Stop.
Never.
I just realized I totally forgot my prop.
What?
No.
Do you have
I'll
a
be right
mushroom
back.
hat?
Oh my
I hope he has a
Oh.
mushroom hat.
Oh my god. My cheeks
Can't be better
though.
than the troll hair.
The which one?
The troll hair.
The troll hair. I
That's
don't know.
pretty good.
Slidey whistle is my favorite.
Mm.
When the DM asks, "Do you want to talk to the mushroom?" You say yes.
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 Always yes.
Yes. Mushroom dance. Mushroom dance.
Mushroom.
Welcome to Alice in Wonderland, everybody.
Ooh.
Oh my god. That's it, folks.
And it looks at you, and suddenly spores go out in all directions around it.
Ah!
No, it's okay. It's totally fine. I think.
They reach out about 20 feet. They are slow moving as they go. So you can easily avoid them if you want.
Are these, would I recognize these as rapport spore?
You do.
No,
Rapport
it's
spore?
it's okay. It's okay. This is how they communicate, and I will step into the spore.
Okay. I follow Stigander's lead.
Sure, why not?
Nah,
Totally fine.
nah, I'm good.
No,
I stick with Rangram.
Is the mushroom gonna do some like snap poetry for us?
Like, hi.
Hello.
What like Fleshy's doing here? Hey there, dudes. What's up?
We followed a map that brought us here.
A map. Whoa, that's pretty gnarly. What's the map?
I take the shield off and show him the backside of the shield.
Ah, is this for eating? I could turn this into some good eats if you want. Takes a while though.
No. I'll pass.
So the markings mean something then, huh?
That's right. I wave my
Oh,
fingers.
Red Grim Bob, come in. It's great.
gracious.
Nope, I'm good. It's all mental
So,
anyways, right? Through the spores, so I wouldn't hear it anyways.
Nope. Not unless you get
So
into the spores.
I'm Hufflehoss.
Hufflepuff?
Hufflehoss.
Hufflepuff.
Oh, Hufflehoss. What are your names?
I'm Stigander.
Oh,
I'm
nice to meet you.
Delirous, priestess of Timora. Do you want to know more about Timora?
Like, sure. Lay it on me, bro.
Well, listen, Timora gives good luck to all creatures.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes she takes away the luck. She's fickle that way.
Oh, what a downer.
Eh.
Well, she gives it too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty awesome. So,
And this is Quentin. And our
Hello.
other friends over there, that is Rangrim and Bob.
hi there, other friends over there.
He says hello.
It's nice to meet you.
Wave.
It's just they're spores, so you can understand them because they're talking in your head.
Worms.
Okay, Bope will tentatively step into the cloud. Cough.
Hey there, little dude. How's it going?
Oh my.
Oh, yeah.
That is.
It kind of stings the first time, doesn't it?
Yeah, you were quite
Oh,
jubilant.
Just take a big drink that goes down nice.
Oh dear.
Oh,
It's
so
just-
little dudes, what brings you here?
We're looking for a waterfall, a particular waterfall.
A particular waterfall? A good thing you say that. If you ask the axe speak that, they've got nothing but lip. Which is weird because they don't have lips.
You don't say.
I did. So, which one you looking for?
A iridescent one?
Oh, I don't know that one. But my sovereign might.
There's a king of the mushroom men.
Well, yeah. She's
all
like a
have,
queen.
Does he have
She's
a
the queen
crown?
bay.
Does she have a crown?
Well, she's got a big cap.
We have to go meet the queen of the mushroom men.
A big.
All right.
Wait. No, you all missed that. That's gold. She has a big cap.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah.
None of us missed it. We all got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Her name's Bleef.
Leaf.
Leaf.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful.
I'm like Hufflepuff, dudes.
Hello.
Brain
So
Grim, step into
you're
the
looking
cloud.
for it. Well, come on then, let's go. Always looking for some offal, but I guess this could wait.
Nah.
We're the
We
old.
okay like
I'm good.
that?
How do
All
you-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be careful of these big ponds, though. That's where the frogomyths live.
Are they frog people?
No, they're like frog hemoth, like a frog, behemoth, frog hemoth.
Oh my god. They're
Oh.
like huge.
They're like
Let's-
sticky too. They'll like tongue you to death.
Rangrim, they're going this way. We're gonna go meet the Mushroom Queen.
But man, when they let loose, they let loose. And holds up its pot, its bucket. This is some, oh, that's some good stuff. By the way, are you going to shove off anything soon? If you would, do you mind putting in the bucket? No? All right. More from me.
Yep.
So, we ready to go?
Yeah.
Rangrim,
All right.
are you following us?
Yeah, I'll follow. I mean, it's fine. I can walk through the clouds. I don't hear anything anyways.
Right.
You're missing out, Rangram.
This is the most
Oh.
wonderful experience of my life.
It is unique. I'll give it that.
All right,
Mike-
you ready to sing? I always sing when I travel. It makes it go faster.
Yes, please.
Yes.
All right.
I'll take out my flute.
Ready? Work too hard in the mud and mire, and life's gonna get you down. Life work too hard in the mud and mire, life's gonna get you down. Say yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
say yeah,
Yeah.
and life's gonna get you down. Oh yeah, and you notice when he shuffles, he like kind of wiggles along, and that was what was making that swirl shape when it walks. And he is leading you through the marsh as he's like kind of sings the whole way to himself and is horribly off key. And he doesn't seem to care at all. And he comes to, and you can see up ahead is that swirly bit of cloud of the mushroom that you saw earlier with the power of radiance over top of the mushrooms. And he calls, oh, that's the beach house. It's made out of beach.
Oh.
It's made out of beach.
Uh-huh. Beach shrooms.
This is a cave. How did the... But, you know, we should just keep going.
Well, that's why it's super rare.
Okay.
We don't have this anywhere else. So that's why the Queen Bay put it here. So it's got a beautiful view.
Just call her the Queen Bay.
Oh, yeah. Well, her real name is Bleeth. She's the sovereign. Mhm.
Sounds fantastic.
All right. And he takes you into the cavern itself, up into the beach house. And it is a collection of about a ring of mushrooms with a really big mushroom in the middle of it that seems to be the focus of it. And that mushroom itself is hollow on the other side, and they have like giant arches around it. So there's creates a open space underneath of the mushroom, the central mushroom of where all this power is coming through. And as you walk into this ring of power, this just the colors get extremely vibrant. And as it goes, Hufflepuff starts walking normal with long strides. As you can see, he gets legs, like normal legs as he goes. And there's other mushroom folk in here, myconoids, who are looking extremely humanoid, like with actual, as opposed to like looking like weird bubbless fungus in it with like eye holes and whatnot. It is full on like facial features, and their hair is all swept up
Interesting.
into their caps, and they have normal hands with fingers.
Is this something that Stiganders ever like experienced before, or is this the first kind of sovereign like this?
First one.
So as we're walking, in between me gaping at all of the amazing things, I'm folding something inside of my cloak.
All right. Noted.
Like
I've-
doing some origami.
I've
kinda
slung
thing.
my shield on my back, and I've got a little sketchbook out, and I'm kind of sketching the mygonoids and things as well.
Yeah. It looks like they actually live in all these houses and all the mushrooms, that they have little houses with little doors. Well, they're not actually not so little, with doors and windows in it, and little flower pots and window pots in the garden that have little tiny mushrooms like succulents growing in them.
Oh my gosh.
Are those
And
their
these are-
children?
Do you ask?
No, we should not. Remember the last time we asked? It looks like it's killing her.
Okay.
You should totally ask. I just
Are
saw-
those your children?
What? What? Those
the
little ones?
mushrooms.
Oh no! Those are just like decorations. They're succulents.
Okay.
Our
Okay.
kids are over here. They're out learning. You can see, and he points over, and you can see a ring of little kids sitting cross-legged, with a teacher at one side of it also going, and you can actually see waves connecting them around the circle as they're all humming together.
This is great.
But the whole town weirdly has this seashore vibe to it. Just the way it's constructed, the way the windows are.
Beach
It's just
vibes.
just has a seashore. And when you go on the far side of the village, you can see it's actually on the one side of one of those giant lakes. And they've like combed down the side of the lake to create a sort of pebbly beach. And laying out on a large on a large lounge chair, and I need to stop bumping that, which turns my monitor off, is, you can only guess, the sovereign, who is much taller than Hufflepuff, probably about 6 feet, and has an enormous cap,
Yes.
and is about that big all around. And all of her hair is going up into it and kind of forms the gills on the underside of the mushroom cap. And she's wearing what you'd swear is like a swimsuit of some sort, and is wearing platform shoes, boots with soles about that tall.
Yep. Cool.
And she's sitting there with has some sort of drink on a table next to her, as she's sitting there reading what you think might be some sort of book.
I'm in
Beautiful.
love. I'm in love.
And she reaches over and takes a sip of it and puts it back.
Hello, Sovereign.
She looks up at you and blinks as if completely surprised that you're there.
Hey.
Oh, my heavens, aren't you wonderful? You're here. Who are you, fleshlings?
We are the Velkyn Weave,
Mm-hmm.
and
I am Sovereign Black.
hello,
What brings you
Sovereign.
to the beach house?
I can't.
We're looking for an iridescent waterfall, and Hufflepuff said that you
Hufflepuff?
might. Hufflepuff said that you might
Oh my God.
know where one is. Also, I have a gift
Mhm.
for you, and I pull out what I've been folding under my cloak, and it's this little paper crown. you can throw it away. I mean, it might be cool if you wore it just
It's
once.
beautiful, like totally wonderful. Like, may I?
Yes, please put
Oh,
it on.
totally.
Just want to see it once.
Oh, what do I do with it?
You put it on top of the
The-
cap.
On your. The cap's too wide for her to get.
It's too
across.
hard for her to get her head on.
The
Oh,
lid is
and
maybe
she's
a
got
few-
gloves on that are also iridescent colored going up, but like it only goes around her middle finger and then sleeves. And
maybe Dolores, maybe you should take it. Like,
would you do the honors, please?
Oh, of course,
Leans down.
absolutely. This is the greatest moment of my life. Yes.
Oh, do I look fabulous? Please,
Yes.
like, tell me I look fabulous.
Yes.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Well,
I'm gonna tell the kids all about this.
what gift can I give you in return? Would you like a drink? They're muddled.
What does that mean?
Well, you take some herbs, you put them in the egg, and then you crush them up so it releases into it, and then you go find the best spring water coming down the walls, and you sip from it. It's divine. You absolutely have to try it, darling. We should go to the spa sometime.
oh my god.
They just did mud baths earlier yesterday.
Really? Oh my.
Uh,
They didn't do a very good job.
no.
Oh, no
Oh.
offense.
No.
No
No,
offense,
it's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's true.
It was
It's
really
true.
bad.
We'll do it right. We'll do it right. We got some sea cucumbers. We'll put over the eyes, protect them. Mhm.
No, Dolores doesn't know what sea cucumbers are.
So, Hufflepuff says you want something.
we are
An
looking.
iridescent waterfall?
Yes.
Oh, so you're just passing through. We get such few fleshlings down here.
Mhm.
Have you seen others?
Well, mostly, some passers-by every now and then. Mostly they're like him, and they point to Rangram. But, a lot meaner.
Oh.
They're like, have gray skin and no hair, and they like punch everything. It's like,
That's
"Hi,
very
how are you?
So rude.
Like,
I know. They don't like our reports either. Our report
Turn-
either. They're,
turn to
they're
Rangram to like
sporophobes.
turn to Rangram to like translate for a second.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
Mhm.
terrible.
Don't go southeast. That's all I gotta say. Oh, and look out for the frog hemoth.
Yeah, we've been warned.
Yes.
Oh, but if you're here, maybe you can help out. We're having a small bit of problem, and you can help out with it. And in return, I can tell you where you need to go. Sound like a deal, darlings?
Sure. I mean, we'll at least hear about the problem. See if we can help.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently this group of little monsters called catoblepuses have wandered into the marsh, and they just kill everything around them. If you would go out there and remove them as an invasive species that have no business being in our marsh, and also could you tell us what is being bleeped out of the catoblepus? We're very curious.
I love these people. I never want to leave. No, we should leave, but maybe I'll come back.
I
here.
know, darling. It's wonderful. Yeah. You should join us by the lakeside. We can have extra lounge chairs brought out.
I did have a question for you.
Aha, darling, yes.
How far back does your memory go? Do you remember gloamings coming here in the past, decades past?
A gloaming? What's a gloaming?
Like a moth person? Kind of shake my arms and feel like the wings.
Oh, no. I'm afraid not. Well, unfortunately, heavy is the head that wears the crown. We tend to have rapid transitions. But don't worry, what's new is old again, and what old is new again. It's like fashion, darling.
What are these rapid transitions?
Are we gonna come back and there's gonna be a new sovereign?
And like we're gonna find this queen all like cut up in like Game of Thrones fast new leadership.
Everything rots down here.
Indeed,
If you're
it does. It's the circle of life. It's how we are all born.
I mean,
We're-
it makes sense. Mushrooms don't live that long.
Well, the mushroom is like the seed dispersal organ. The actual like fungus is. Never mind. Delirious doesn't actually know any of this.
Mhm.
We need to play a druid who knows these things.
Indeed. But, darlings, we'll have to continue this conversation another time because it looks like the witching hour is upon us.
No.
Margaritas for
Or-
everyone.
More mushroom adventures.
I know. Mojitos. Margaritas. Oh, yes. Margaritas for everyone. But until then, Leia, do you have some words for us?
Yes, don't leave yet. The mists are next. The walkers have left the domain of insignificance, but paid a heavy price. What accursed land will the mists bring to them next? And check out our friends over at Dirty Deeds, who are now on Wednesdays, starting at 7 p.m. EST. Having saved the city of New Seer, the Fallen Star Company hits the road towards the Mournlands as their dreams continue to haunt them. What dangers lie ahead with the blasted wasteland?
And don't forget to subscribe to the Games Tavern YouTube channel. Hit that like, hit that bell, get your notifications. It's all part of catching up if you have to miss a show, or and not just the Velkyn Weave, but those that are also here. The wow, I just blinked on them. Dirty Deeds and the Myths. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm so focused. But we put all of our content is there, even some of the older stuff. So like previous seasons from other shows that have since taken hiatuses. It's a great place to stop in. Your likes, your comments, they help us build what we're doing in the future to make a better show for everyone. So.
And go visit dndbeyond.com. Excuse me, and check out their D&D support tools and capabilities for making your home game the best they can be with online and mobile support.
Darlings, thank you for joining us here at the beach house in the Shimmerlight Fens. Until next we meet, may adventure find you. Now have fun with amazing teams that's bringing you the mists.
Bye-bye.
Mm.